1,000 subjects were recruited by the 8 participating centres across Europe, with 900 obese or overweight parents enrolled in the 8-week weight loss programme. The families were recruited using word of mouth, healthcare professional referrals, the media and house-to-house leafleting. Some centres had more difficulty in recruiting families than others. Potential recruits were extensively screened, and those with metabolic conditions, diabetes, certain allergies and weight loss due to surgery excluded. Once recruited, families, parents and their children took part in clinical investigations, anthropometric measurements, weight, height, BMI, body waist and hip circumference ratios were taken, blood pressure too. Blood and urine samples were taken from adult subjects at baseline, after the 8-week weight loss phase, and at 6 and 12 months. These samples are used to identify hormones and metabolites involved in the regulation of appetite. Children who were willing also gave blood and urine samples. In adults, an oral glucose tolerance test was taken at the same time to aid prediction of type 2 diabetes. Biopsies of adipose tissue were taken for analysis of gene expression, and a further fat biopsy taken after 2 days of the weight loss programme to aid the identification of predictor genes associated with weight loss. The physical activity level of recruited subjects was also assessed.
Door de batterij is 20 seconden. En als het lampje niet meer knippert, dan moeten we eventjes bellen.
All adult subjects initially took part in an 8-week weight loss diet, using an energy-restricted, liquid, low-calorie diet of 800 to 880 kcals a day. This diet contains all necessary proteins, essential fatty acids, and the daily requirement for vitamins and minerals. This daily energy intake of approximately 800 calories may typically result in a weight loss of 1,000 grams or more each week. A limited amount of fresh vegetables and salad was allowed in addition. 90% of recruited subjects successfully completed this first weight loss phase, reducing their weight by 10% or more during that 8-week period.
Het streven voor mij was om, als we beginnen met datgene wat Diogenes eiste, dus die 10% geloof ik, wat je minimaal vanaf moest halen, of we dat zouden halen. Ik ging daar eigenlijk vanuit dat dat veel meer zou worden. Dat is dan uiteindelijk ook wel gelukt. En het streven is nog steeds, als we onder de 100 uitkomen, althans voor mij, dan spring ik altijd in de lucht. De eerste week is lastig. Dat is echt een hele omschakeling in je patroon en je lichaam protesteert aan alle kanten. En ja, daarna loopt het eigenlijk vanzelf. En het grote voordeel is, dus vonden wij, als je strikt op Modifast zit, dat iedereen dat snapt. Iedereen in je omgeving snapt dat ook. En je krijgt geen verleidingen meer. Stel je niet aan, dat hele koekje, dat kan nou toch geen kwaad. Als je heel strikt, we doen Modifast en verder niks, dan snapt iedereen dat. En dan lukt het ook wel.
Im Arbeitsbereich, da kommt dann schon so, wenn man dann was sieht, ne? Ja, wie lange willst du denn noch machen? Du fällst ja vom Fleisch und isst doch mal was Ordentliches und so, ja? Dann kriegt man schon so ein paar Bemerkungen. Wahrscheinlich aus Neid, ich weiß es niet.
Ik moet zeggen, nu is het veel moeilijker. Dat we gestopt zijn met Modifast en weer normaal eten. En dan wordt er vlaai gegeven op werk. En kom, een tweede stukje, iedereen doet toch een tweede stukje. Ja, nee, laten we het toch maar niet doen. Stel je niet aan. Dat soort opmerkingen krijg je nou veel meer als in de Modifast-periode.
Nou, wij hoefden op zich daar niet aan mee te doen, maar het was wel soms te merken dat zij wat geïrriteerd waren of zo. Maar nee, voor ons viel het wel mee. En konden gewoon dooreten.
The first bunch of people that arrived to the center seemed a little bit suspicious or wary of the liquid diet. This is something that's done in Greece for the first time. But once we got like 10 families in the program and they saw the good results and they liked our working together and our way of working, all the dietitians, they seemed quite happy. So many of our participants after that came from mouth to mouth. And especially during the first week of them being in the liquid diet, they found it very, very hard. I'm sure it's the same in the other centers too. By the time they started forgetting their hunger, they changed their minds and everything seemed to change in a positive way. They found the diet more practical, more economic. They didn't have to carry Tupperware with lunch at work. They just had to carry, the small sachet of the diet and just mix it with water. So it was very practical. They didn't have to think about what to cook every day, apart from their kids, of course. So it was a positive experience.
Families with at least one member who achieved an 8% loss of initial body weight were then randomized to one of the 5 dietary arms, including a control group. In 2 centers, supermarkets set up for the study provided families with free food for 6 months, followed by 6 months of dietary advice and support. The other 6 centres provided families with 6 months of dietary advice and support only. The 4 diets used in Research Line 1 were high or low in protein and high or low in GI. The 5th diet, the control diet, was based on the family's usual diet, but with additional advice on the inclusion of healthy foods. Each diet, and what this meant in terms of portions, was clearly explained to the subjects. Families at the 6 centres not using supermarkets were given access to a dietitian every other week to provide advice on weight control and diet composition, through recipes, advice on cooking, and behaviour modification. Advice on the content of the diet was standardised across all centres, but also reflected local dietary customs.
A basic characteristic of the diet in Crete is lots of olive oil, both in salads and when cooking the food. So this is something that we had to cut back when advising people on how to eat during their 6-month intervention program. We did that by suggesting small amounts of olive oil, which will be enough to take all the good nutrients it has.
I try to just buy things that are stabilizing my appetite, and what I found really helpful is by stabilizing proteins and carbohydrates, what happens is that I stabilize my appetite for food. So when I sit at the table, I have control of what I eat, and it feels so great. It feels really nice. I want to buy zucchinis, cauliflower, and some broccoli actually. What I will do with those, I will boil them when I get home, and sometimes I steam them instead of boil them. They taste better that way. I put olive oil on top and lemon juice. Okay. And that's what I do.
Regarding the GI and the low protein diet, these days the diet in Crete has lots of protein and especially meat protein. So if we consider the low protein groups, dietary intervention groups, this is a bit difficult. And today we randomized a family that said, like, if I have 50 grams of chicken with my main meal, it's just one small piece, like a matchbox. So that isn't enough.
Τόσο. Πολύ μικρό. Πολύ μικρό. Και κοιτάξτε όμως πόσες πρωτεΐνες έχει το άτιμο. Που είναι ένα μικρό κομματάκι κρέας. Το κοτόπουλο, ας πούμε, έχει τόσο πολύ. Το κοτόπουλο πρέπει να έχει λίγο λιγότερο. Καλά, ένα παράδειγμα έδωσα εδώ. Ένα κοτόπουλο στο γκρίλ έχει πιο πολύ. Πόσο πολύ? 16.